Like and subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon to get new video updates.
Ahead of the NHL trade deadline, new Caps adjust to a new reality. Anaheim, Calif. Craig Smith was taking a nap in his Seattle hotel room before the game last week, when he heard a knock on his door. It was Boston Bruins coach Jim Montgomery who told Smith that he wasn't going to play the Kraken tonight. Smith had been traded to the Washington Capitals after watching countless teammates move in his 12 years in the NHL. It had finally happened to him for the first time. It felt weird, he said. Smith, 33, who didn't know what else to do but access Washington's game schedule online and see where the team was playing. He would have less than 48 hours to fly across the country, learn about Washington's defense system, and in a home game against the New York Rangers. He watched as some of his new Washington teammates Erik Gustafsson, Johansson and Lars Eller were shipped out during the hop. Cities continued to revise their list ahead of Friday's close. Getting traded to the NHL for the first time has been an emotionally draining process full of logistical challenges for Smith and Rasmus Sandin, a 22-year-old Swedish defenseman whom the Capitals acquired in a deal with the Toronto Maple Leafs Tuesday. It meant leaving the best team in the league to join one that wants to get younger, and one that could trade him again before Friday's deadline, or let him go after becoming a free agent this summer. For Sandin, that meant exiting a playoff contender who drafted him, and proving he was worthy of the 2023 first-round pick that the Capitals, along with Gustafsson, gave up to pick him. I was a little surprised. Obviously this wasn't something I expected. He was in the middle of practice when he was told to go back to the locker room with a Maple Leafs staffer. He had arrived at the Capitals team hotel that evening, and the next morning his blue Maple Leafs bag was loaded onto a cart loaded with red Capitals bags as Washington drove to the Honda Center in Anaheim for practice. He barely knew anyone on the team and was the first to introduce himself to most of the Capitals players and staff. He was one of two players who ran extra after the team's optional practice before their game against the Ducks, but were forced to sit out the game later Wednesday night, as his immigration papers were still being processed. He has vowed to reinvent himself and squeeze more hockey out of a career that already spans 834 games. He couldn't return home to his wife last week before joining the Capitals, he said, but he was leaning on what few connections he already had at his new team.